Hey, what's up everybody? Just picked up my new Puma STS for the 2026 season. We got it all rigged up. We're gonna do a little walkthrough, so come along with me and see what we got going. On the back here, powering this beast is the Mercury Pro XS 250 4-stroke. This will be my 7th year running this motor. This thing's been really reliable for me over the years, and happy to be running them again. Whole shot's great, speed is great with this boat, handling's awesome. So we got that on the back again this year. Running a Mercury 24 pitch Fury on there, powering this thing, and it's on a Bob's jack plate. So super happy with the Bobs the last several years too. Really quick up and down, allows me to get in and out of shallow areas really well, and you can run over some pretty shallow sandbars too if you ever need to. In the back here for our anchor system, we got the Minn Kota Raptors. These are 8-footers. They got the auto anchoring system in it, so if you're in a windy situation where you've got them down and a wave kicks you up, they continue to press down until you're locked in tight. So that's one really cool feature about the Raptors. Powering the boat here in the back, you know, with our electronic setups these days, power is everything and it's super key. Since the start of my Elite Series career, I've run Pro Guide batteries, and I'll be running them again for the 7th year next year. You know, over the years, batteries have definitely evolved. Next year, I'm gonna be running their new Alpha line, which I'm super excited about. I've got two 36 volt, 60 amps in parallel for my trolling motor. So that's gonna give me the same power at 7 a.m. as it will at 4 p.m. You know, super consistent power throughout the day, which is really key. That's the beauty of having lithium batteries. So we got two of those in parallel for the trolling motor. And then for my electronics, motor, Raptors, accessories, live wells, everything else, I'm running it off of one big 31 size, 235 amp hour lithium battery. So that's their biggest amp hour battery that they're offering in their new Alpha line next year. I've got everything running off of it. And then I do have a spare, just a smaller 24 size starting battery in there that I'll rig up to a switch. So let's say I don't get a good charge at the campground, or for whatever reason the fuse pops overnight on the charger, you know, the outlet that I'm using, I'll have that backup just as peace of mind. You know, when we're running all across the country, it's not easy to just run a couple hours down the road to get a new battery. You lose practice time, you lose tournament time, so having a backup in there is really key. And then for my charger, I'm running a 3-bank system. One bank will go to the 36 volt system in parallel, and then I have 2 banks going to each of the starting batteries. So they'll get a full charge every evening. Here at the console driver's seat, I'm running 2 Humminbird Apex 13s. Why 2 of them? Once again, redundancy in what we do. You know, if one of these happens to go down for whatever reason, it's always good to have a backup. And then also for efficiency purposes. You know, when I'm offshore scanning, fishing offshore structure, I like to have 2D here and then Lake Master mapping on this side. And on the right, I like side imaging and down imaging on this side. Another cool feature is if you're running on a really big body of water, which a lot of times we are on the Elite Series, you can have kind of a zoomed in map here and then a zoomed out version here. So you get big picture here and more detail here. So a couple reasons why I like to run 2 graphs, and we got 2 Apex 13s here at the dash this year. Up front, we've got an Apex 13 here at the bottom, and then an Explorer 12 here at the top. This is my first year running an Explorer. I've had it on the water for 1 day, so I can't give you guys too much of a review on it, but I will say that I like it so far. Super simple, easy to use, very intuitive. And then we've got the Apex 13 here at the bottom. My typical system here is running mapping and 360 on the bottom, and then Mega Live on top. You know, if I'm up shallow and I'm not running Mega Live 2, I'll usually just have 2D and then Lake Master mapping. So these are both on Bass Boat Technologies mounts, the console and at the bow here. What I like about those mounts is they're customized for every boat. So not every boat's configuration is the same at the dash and the bow. And BBT does a really good job of customizing the mount for your boat. So for a Puma STS, they have the exact mount that you need. Super easy, simple to install, and I've used them for, this will be my 7th year next year running the BBTs. On the trolling motor, we got the Ultrex Quest. Right now I have the 45-inch shaft on there. When we go north to the bigger bodies of water, I will put the 52-inch shaft on there. Beast of a trolling motor. If you guys haven't experienced the Minn Kota Ultrex Quest, you need to do yourself a favor. Get in a boat that has one, run it. You will not be disappointed. They're amazing trolling motors. On the trolling motor itself, we got Mega Live 2 next year, and then Humminbird 360. So that's my setup for electronics, trolling motor, transducers. Let's jump into some of these boxes and I'll show you what I keep in them. So for storage in the back, on each side in the very back, there is a little side compartment for some stuff. I keep jumper cables on that side. And then on this side, I've got my battery charger. In the center here, we got the triangular live wells from Basscat. Big live wells, stuff as many big fish in there as we possibly can next year, hopefully. And then on this side, I like to keep life jackets, some gloves and hats right now, my scale, and then I got some culling equipment in here as well. On this side is kind of a catch-all. You know, for me right now, I got the AquaView in there. I was doing some offshore fishing here this fall. Curious on what's down there, but I'll keep like some camera gear, miscellaneous stuff in there. You know, sometimes my rain gear sits in there tournament weeks. Kind of a catch-all there. Under this seat, I like to keep my spare props. Right now I just have my trolling motor prop and wrench and stuff in there. I will keep an extra Fury prop under there. The beauty of these seats is they're just big enough to keep an actual full-size prop for your big motor under there. So it keeps it out of the way, flush, it doesn't bounce around in there. It's a really cool feature from Basscat. On this side, you can also keep your spare prop as well, but I like to keep some ropes, towels, some tools, and then I've got my fire extinguisher under there, as well as some flares. In the middle here, this is kind of my day box, some sunglasses, had some hand warmers out recently here this fall, screen cleaner, sunscreen, that sort of deal. In the middle, we've got a cooler. I actually use this for throwing my trash throughout the day. That way I can clean it out at the end of each day. It's pretty easy, but you can also use it as a cooler. This is the main one that I use as my cooler. Big cooler system. You know, if you're someone that fishes summertime tournaments a lot and you like to keep ice for your live wells, you can actually fit a bag or two of ice in there as well. But for me, that's kind of my main cooler for drinks and snacks throughout the day. Center compartment here, I keep a lot of my heavier stuff in here. So, you know, we got some cold water baits in there, spoons, and some ripping baits right now, but a lot of times it's plastics. I got my heavy weights, jig heads, heavier stuff kind of middle to the back part of the boat, which is just good for performance purposes. In the front here is where I'll keep a lot of my hard baits. They're a little bit lighter. You know, right now they're empty. I don't got them in the boat right now, but we got storage for jerk baits, crank baits, top water. And then if you want, you can actually shove stuff up underneath there as well if you got maybe some extra bags full of stuff. And then in the middle here, if you're someone that fishes tournaments where you can use a net, you can actually store a full-size net down in the center compartment there. If you don't, you know, you could use it for a throw cushion or extra life jackets, what have you, if you want to use it for that. On the right side here in the rod box, I usually keep a lot of my spinning rods in here. Right now I don't have any, but I don't got the boat really loaded down for tournament mode quite yet. But we got a throw cushion in there, a little oar. I keep my push pole, and then I've got a lure retriever that I keep in there as well. On this side, typically we got full of bait casters, but right now we got a few spinning rods and one bait caster in there. But full rod storage, you know, you can get probably 20, 30 rods in there if you want, packer full. Right now we just got a couple of them. So that's kind of the rundown. Storage, electronics, trolling motor, Raptors, batteries for the 2026 Puma STS. This is my third year running this exact boat. Super happy with it. I've run a Pantera 2 and an Era in the past. Those are great boats in their own. But for a bigger water boat with a nice giant casting deck on it and great storage, the Puma STS has been a great option for me the last couple years.